Hey everybody, it's Trevor here with the channel where every day is range day, and in this week's video we're going through my full review of this Strongside holster from A+I Manufacturing. Let's check it out. Alright guys, and as usual, before we get into this, A+I Manufacturing did send us this holster to review, and we have had a relationship with them on the channel in the past. They've sent us a couple holsters and other products to review. They did a giveaway with us, so we have a working relationship there, but they never pay us for good reviews or to say good things. They just send us products to test and review, and that's what we've done. So let's check it out. Right off the bat, something I'd like to clarify after my first impressions video, I mentioned that these belt loops here on either side of the holster were very, very tight to my 1.5" core belt. And that, obviously that wouldn't work with anything larger, but they do. I just didn't notice it on the website. They do have wider clips here to accommodate larger belts, just to get that out of the way. This is my first time around, they do have that. But going into the review, this is pretty standard for my long-term review on a product like this that we get sent in to test out. I've had this and used it over the last couple months, usually 3 or 4 months at least, is what I like to do for this. And as far as testing goes, I don't really put it through any torture tests or anything like that. I try to use this from sort of an everyday carry perspective, something that a normal person like you or me would expect to get out of this thing from a durability and a performance standpoint. I'm not running this over with a truck or dumping it in mud or doing anything crazy like that. It's just my review from using this as an EDC holster, just like anybody else would. That being said, the first topic I like to go into is overall durability, and you can kind of look at this as a sort of QC check on the products too. How well are they put together? How long do they last? How do they hold up for their intended purpose? Overall, pretty high marks. There's really no noticeable wear and tear on this thing. It is, decently thick kydex there. There's not a ton that could go wrong. None of the fasteners have any wear and tear. They're not loose or anything. And I did not Loctite these yet. These are just from the factory, but they've held up. Nothing's loose. Nothing's bent, cracked, warped, or otherwise damaged. I mean, it's a quality manufactured product from A+I. It matches up with some of the stuff they've shown us in the past. And given the choice of materials here, again, there's really not too much that can go wrong. It's just 2 pieces of kydex sandwiched together with some decent fasteners and these little plastic belt clips. I did mention on my first review that this might be a sort of a weak point here where this web thins out, and this is where any sort of flexure with your belts happens. So if there was any kind of deformities or wear in the plastic, I would have expected it to be basically right in there, just as this flexing motion goes on against your waist with the belt. But really nothing to write home about that's particularly bad at this at all. I mean, nothing's damaged and it's held up just right. I just throw it on the belt, walk around, take it off at the end of the day and put it on the nightstand in the dresser, whatever you're doing. And from that, you really can't go wrong with this. The product's super well made. The fit and finish is very good in terms of retention and things like that. As it relates to overall quality, I mean, the fit still holds up over time. Nothing in the holster has sort of warped or deformed to make that fit not hold up over the past couple months. So nothing really to write home about there at negative at all. Super strong marks, exactly what I would expect from something like A+I Manufacturer or any decent kydex holster manufacturer. So good job there from a durability perspective. No problems at all. Would recommend it all the way. The next big topic that I always like to talk about when I'm doing these type of reviews is overall performance, which is basically how good is it at doing whatever it is it's supposed to do based on the product. And for this one, how good is it at being a outside the waistband concealed carry Strongside holster? Just for your reference, I've worn this at 4 o'clock over the past couple months. You can probably do it at 3, 4, 5, or 6, whatever suits your fancy there. But 4 o'clock fits the shape of my body quite well with this bit of curvature here, and I've really loved it from that perspective in terms of comfortability and wearing this thing all day. That's a pretty big factor in my opinion for how well a holster like this performs, because if it's your EDC, you're not going to want to wear it if it's not comfortable. This doesn't have a concealment wedge or any type of foam padding or anything like that, just the hard kydex, and it's built-in curvature here with the clips. You can scoot them up or down here with these holes, but it's more of a concealment thing. In terms of comfort, it's really been pretty outstanding. I've actually been pretty surprised how comfortable it could be. This is my sort of first trip into the Strongside holster world, but I've been pleasantly impressed with it. It sits on my 4 o'clock just about like that all day long. Don't even notice it's there. Super, super comfortable, and that is very big in my books for concealed carry holsters. So top marks on the comfortability there. That's a pretty big performance indicator, as I mentioned. Other options such as retention, you're kind of wanting to keep on your person there. It holds it place just fine. Never had any issues there. I didn't tighten the retention screws down either. This is just how they come from the factory. You can loosen this middle one here if you want a little less or a little more, but on the stock grab right there, super sound click, and it's in there pretty good, but it can come out if you need to for the draw. Again, no issues with retention, and that goes into the durability just a little bit too. Nothing with the Kydex is gonna degrade or warp or anything like that as you wear it day in and day out. So it's held its shape great. Another key factor in performance. Good job there. The next other factor, probably the third main pillar here, is just overall concealment, because it is a concealed carry holster. It would function equally well as like an open carry option there too. That's not my preference really in terms of carry, especially out in public, but it would work great in that capacity, obviously. But from a concealment perspective, it also works pretty awesome. The type of carry also lends itself to that a little bit. This was something that I would carry a bit more in the wintertime or colder months where you have jackets, coats, or other like bulkier clothing like a hoodie on. So something like this is a little easier to conceal just by nature of the clothing you're gonna wear. But you know, not everything's just an ace in the hole like that. But wearing this holster, it just disappears like anything else. The jackets make it pretty much on easy mode when you're talking about concealment like that. But for me anyways, in my body type at 4 o'clock, this thing just, you know, again, completely disappears. It'd probably be fine in just a regular t-shirt too. But I tend to favor this a little bit more for the winter months with the bulkier clothing. Maybe I'm outside working some more and you're bending down, picking stuff up or whatever, where an appendix type holster would maybe tend to dig into you a little more. It's kind of why I favor this over the winter months when I can. And it's just super easy to conceal. Pretty big important factor there, and it does a wonderful job. Something else that I'd considered, and let me know what you think in the comments below, is adding a concealment wedge here on this type of holster for Strongside. Again, I don't have the most experience with those. I have those concealment wedges on my appendix holsters to sort of cant the holster grip into your body a bit more. I could see that working in this application as well. On some of A+I's other holsters, namely their appendix positions, they do have one that has a concealment wedge actually molded into the Kydex right here with just a little bump, so that it kind of pushes the holster grip into you a little bit more. I could see that working on here maybe as well. I'm not sure if it's as needed for Strongside just because of the weather and the clothing that you're wearing that I mentioned in the past, but nonetheless an interesting thing I talked about. Let me know what you think about something like that on this type of holster. If you carry Strongside, do you recommend or use a concealment wedge? Let me know what you think. I'm not saying it needs it to do its job, it's just something I thought about, but from a performance standpoint, top marks. I mean, it does everything that you need it to do for a Strongside holster. It's comfortable to boot, conceals well. What more could you ask for? And that's gonna about do it, guys, for this long-term review on the Strongside holster for my Glock 19 here from A+I Manufacturing. Again, I wore this as my EDC for the past 3 or 4 months over the cold season here with bulkier clothes, working a little bit more outside. This thing has been my go-to and it's worked like a dream. It's incredibly comfortable here just with this sort of innate curvature that it has built into the holster. It's held up beautifully with all the fasteners, all the retention. The fit and finish of the product has maintained its factory condition more or less. It's been in pretty good shape. If you're using this from an EDC perspective, I would highly recommend it. Thanks again to the guys from A+I for sending this out. I'll continue to enjoy using it over the winter months, especially when I'm doing other things outside, bending down, doing some yard work, anything like that. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like down below. If you have any questions about the Strongside holster here from A+I Manufacturing, anything else you've seen in the video, or maybe your own tips for Strongside carry holsters, put them down below in the comments. We always love hearing from you guys. And as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel, where every day is Braves Day. Thanks for watching.
That is a huge window.